Undoubtedly the hottest topic in the wrestling world over the last few months was Cody Rhodes' return to WWE at WrestleMania, and his shocking return, considering he was an EVP in AEW and one of the key players there, and probably the first defect, or really proper defect, from AEW to WWE. So yeah, a major moment. So today we're going to look at 10 other wrestlers from AEW who can make the switch, starting off with number 10, Brian Cage, a talented wrestler with an absolute physical specimen, which would be the perfect for someone like Vince McMahon. He signed with AEW in Jan 2020, and things are looking up for him when he had a title match at Double or Nothing. But yeah, unfavourable situation in AEW, and the extension of the roster has kind of left him with not a lot to do recently. With contract expiring next year, maybe it could be time for him to make the switch. Moving on then to number 9, and that's Austin and Colson Gunn. Being the sons of Hall of Famer Billy Gunn, they chose to follow in their father's footsteps. Austin made his debut in 2020. Colson joined later in the but was added to the mix. They've had a good run in AEW, but their father's reputation in WWE, a debut at some point there seems inevitable. Moving on then to number 8, and that's Paul White, and yeah, of course, the Big Show. You don't really need to say much more about this. I think it's pretty much inevitable that at some point the Big Show, Paul White, whatever you want to call him, will return to WWE at some point. He's just such a legend there. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy the stuff he's doing with AEW, occasional ring with in-ring stuff and the commentary as well, but yeah, it just seems inevitable. Moving on then to number 7, Lance Archer, and yeah, he's kind of a similar story to Brian Cage, really. Another big dude that starts off really strongly. He was in the first ever TNT title match, I believe, against Cody Rhodes. And yeah, had a good run. But yeah, with the expansion of the roster, you just haven't seen as much of him recently, and big guy could make the switch. Moving on then to number 6, and that's Brock Anderson. Arn Anderson's son, Brock, made his debut for AEW in June 2021. He continued to compete in AEW on night shows like Dark and Dark Elevation, but has only had 3 matches on Dynamite and 1 on Rampage. It appears AEW has no real motive to shift gears with Brock Anderson, and yeah, he's got quite a lot of time left at 25 and could make the switch one day. Moving on to number 5, and that's Orange Cassidy. And yeah, he's one of the unique characters in AEW. And yeah, he's unique, and he's really established himself in AEW, so this is probably one you'd say is more unlikely. But you know, WWE, the sports entertainment company they say to be, like they say they are, someone like him could fit the bill perfectly there. Moving on to number 4, and that's Wardlow. Wardlow, yeah, in the past few weeks has just been an absolute star, hasn't he? Breaking free from Jeff and the Pinnacle and really proving himself with the whole storyline that's going on at the moment. Yeah, just loved it from start to finish, really. It's just been brilliant, and yeah, it's truly shown to WWE what he can do. The big guy, could it happen one day when his contract expires? Who knows? Moving on into number 3, and that's Kristen Cage. He shocked the wrestling world when he returned at the Royal Rumble, and then went on to sign with AEW just a few months later, and has shown his greatness since, defeating Kenny Omega, and yeah, it's in a great storyline in Jungle Boy at the moment, and that's sure to lead to a blow-off. And yeah, with his legend status, a return to WWE one day seems inevitable, as it does for someone like number 2, Chris Jericho. And yeah, I would love to see him return to WWE for one last run. I mean, like, the stuff was that his last run with lists and stuff like that? That was really great. But yeah, I mean, like, at the same time, I love what he's doing in AEW. But you know, he's just been so synonymous with WWE. It seems inevitable he will return for one last run. Moving on then to number 1, and that's MJF. 2024 is the year all wrestling fans have in their mind. What will MJF do? Yeah, it's just already so far out. We're first half of 2022. MJF is already teasing us, and it just keeps on going on and on. And one day it could happen. I just love to see the scenes. But anyway, guys, that's it for you. Thanks very much for watching. If you like, subscribe. It's not comments. Have a follow to subscribe for daily wrestling news, and subscribe to our channel as well. That would be greatly appreciated. Thanks very much for watching. Peace.